Good afternoon, loyal race fans. Welcome back to Motorsport Manager and the award-winning Bulldozer Power. The last race was not the biggest success that we've had this season, with Nicholas Hazel finishing in 15th, Vanessa Silvera in 16th. And unfortunately, I can't really force the blame on anyone but myself for this lackluster performance, as my tyre strategy was woeful in the last race. As you can see, Hans 00 there, carrying on his tremendous season to date with another first place finish, with Cozzo Massilella finishing in second, unusually not breaking down. Massilella has been plagued by erratic car performance over the season, with Megahertz, who's been quite quiet this season, but a respectable third place there. That places Hazel in 10th and Silvera in 11th overall in the table, which, you know, is okay, but we're going to have to step up our game a little bit as Bulldozer Power slumps to 5th place overall. We've got 3 points over Firebird MRT and Archer BMR, but we're going to need to get a result this time round if we're going to avoid dropping even lower. So into the inbox in that way that we so often do. Gary's talking about the car, and it's going to take him 20 hours to fix it. Fine by me. UK SN, which I assume is sports news there. Do I have a moment to answer a question? Go for it. Nicholas Hazel has claimed that your brakes seem to be holding the team back. There's that. I mean, this is ironic on a number of levels. Brakes holding us back, and that it's Hazel making that claim in the first place. To be honest, my irony meter, which I've got sat next to me at all times, just fell off the table. Anyway, technical commentators seem to agree. Is it true? I have to hold my hands up. Our brakes are awful, but I need to work on improving them. He needs to button it. That is the attitude that Hazel would do well to adopt. Is shh. Meanwhile, Gary Watson is reviewing the pit crew. Quick report on a performance in the last race with 4 pit stops. Fastest was 12, 1.6 slower than our season record, and we made 1 mistake, but it wasn't dangerous. After X report, Valeria Becerra again. That's the same guy making a mistake twice there, and actually his ratings aren't that bad. I'll go poke the pit crew with my pit crew poking stick momentarily. Meanwhile, Sophie Richards is reporting on the race. 00 is the hero of the hour, and Freddie has reported that our new suspension is done. It is a little bit chancy, the suspension, but it does have a max performance of 256, which is very nice indeed. Its reliability is not all that, but we'll get it in the workshop and get that underway. In fact, we shall go and do that. Oh no, they're busy doing stuff. I'll get in touch with them in a minute. Meanwhile, pit crew, let's have a look what we've got here. Oh, crikey. So Becerra, whose rating is, as mentioned, isn't that lousy, is absolutely worn out. So I'm going to put Crumpo back in. Go on, get in, Crumpers. There we go. A couple of people have suggested that I should be out and about hiring further pit personnel in order to avoid potential disasters throughout the season. But I'm going to muddle through with what I've got. I'm trying to maintain some budget wherever possible. It would be nice to see him actually, get a little bit better, given that he's going to cause me all manner of trouble unless we're careful. Let's have a look at the hiring list. I mean, there's some good guys out there, but it's an extra 13 grand a race for someone who's capable, versus 7 grand for someone who's rubbish. Mistake chance 0.3, mistake chance 0. So why would you not just take someone who's got no chance of mistake? Maybe they're not the fastest, but if they're not going to make a mistake, that's a good thing. At least as a reserve. What are we looking at here? I mean, don't get me wrong. Mr. Cape here is absolutely dreadful. Sorry, Ms. Cape is dreadful, but it's tempting. Not this time. If we continue to have troubles in this regard, I shall make the necessary changes. Right, Gary's fixed the cars. Let's go see what we want. Right, improving the parts. Let's have a look. What are we working on? So on performance, we've got gearboxes in. And actually, those are close enough to being done that I'm going to whip them straight out. The brakes, apparently, our brakes are awful. They're not that bad. I mean, they're in line with everything else we've got. And I admit that everything else we've got is pretty rubbish. But, you know, I think we're being harshly treated there. But we will stick this new bit of suspension into both sides of the team HQ and see if we can't find a happy mix in the middle somewhere where everything gets done. 11 days after the race. That's less than ideal, isn't it? 78% reliability on the engine, however, that's fine. We'll drop that out. And we'll cycle just a bit more effort into part improvement. How does that feel? That feels pretty good. That looks like a right balance. Meanwhile, sponsor time. Okay, brace yourselves, people. We're about to get some money. Slot 1, 5. Hold on, let's have a look. Slot 1 is... There's the big white patch in the middle, right? Okay. Slot 5 is... what are you telling me here? I assume it's over there somewhere. And then slot 2 is on this kind of rear bit of cowling. Let's save ourselves slot 1 till last, because, you know, we like to build up a sense of anticipation. We've only had 2 offers in for slot 5 so far. 4th or above, 6th or above, up front of $1,800,000 a race. Well, that's not bad. I might take that. Versus 300 up front, 700 there. So that's the leading offer, Condor Telecoms, so far. That's not bad, but that's the bonus payment. Is that win or lose bonus payment, or is that the bonus for doing the bonus? I suspect it's the bonus for doing the bonus, isn't it? Fixed, yeah, race bonus offers. That's a slot 5. So this is fixed payment. We've got all the offers we're going to see here. Right, we have... up front of 500k and then another 100 grand a race. I already think we might be leaning this way. Or for 10 races, $1 million up front. Well, I could do that sum in my head. That's 100,000 a race, isn't it? 100,000 a race, 150,000 a race. You want 10 races out of me? Hey, LaRocca, do one. And then 7 races, 350 up front, 150 a race. That is slightly better than Brutus and their tyres in terms of the overall cash that we make. Not by a huge amount, but by enough for me to go. Strap yourself onto the car, there, friend. Good. Let's have a look. Brutus tyres there are now. I thought that's what I took. Oh no, I took dopey fool. HX Telecoms, and they fit in magnificently right there. Okay, right. Well, slot 5. What do we got here? Yeah, we'll wait and see what offer 3 is there. But slot 1, we've got our 3 offers now. So up front, 800 grand bonus if we hit 10th or above. Then 10th or above's not impossible. And you want to pay me 800 grand up front. Meanwhile, you don't want to pay me anything. Deal length 4 races as well, which means we could double dip. We could get someone else. Triple race bonus for Japan, which takes that up to 1.2. No, we're going to take this one. Yeah, we'll take the cash. Thank you. Good. Right. Well, that's injected a little something into the old bank account there, and hopefully that'll keep us going just for a little bit longer. Okay. Well, sure enough, that 3rd offer has come in, and we have 8 races. Now, if we can finish 4th or above, it's worth 800 grand. I don't think so. Over here, however, 700 grand with 300 grand up front. Now, that's only 3 races long, so I think we're going to take this one, despite the fact it's less cash, because we'll get to replace them with someone else in short order. And if we're feeling mighty confident, then actually 3 races is not a bad way to go. Right? Someone check my sums on this. Yeah, totally. This is worth doing. right. 8 races, right. So hold on. No, wait. This is only any good if I replace it with something that is better than 300 grand up front in 3 races' time. If I were to take this 8 race deal, we're not even talking about Squillardo games here, they're rubbish. If we were to take the upfront payment here, it would be slightly better, assuming I can only land another 300 grand in my renegotiation. But I think we can do better. So, I mean, even if this offer were to come up again, we'd still be better off. Right, we're taking it. There we are. Get into my account in the Cayman Islands. Meanwhile, I hope you like scouting reports, because we got some. Chica Balcazar is very good, thank you very much. 20 years of age, Spanish driver, got a potential of 5 out of 5. Wow. Has raced in just about everything. I'm surprised there isn't a milk float in this list somewhere. She's driven everything there is to drive. She's a hothead, lots of overtaking, loads of marketability, doesn't like a mechanic. Well, we can work on that. Easy on the fuel, that's nice, and a wonderkid. We should surely be a wunderkind there, given that that's the translation we get. She's never going to drive for us. She's driving for Hammer AMR right now, who I assume is some kind of, multi-spangled, rich team somewhere. Anyway, next up, Carla Espinosa is a good driver. Driving for Scuderia Rossini. Only a 4-star potential. 30 years of age, though. So there is the opportunity that in the future we might be able to sign her up when she's in the dying embers of her career. But we're not signing anybody right now. All we're doing is just filling out our scouting list. So let's get the next 2. Chris Shaw, Christian West. Both actually in the ERS. So we'll get to see something of our competition. Hey everybody, it's the World Motorsport Championship event roundup coming to you from Munich, round 6 of 16. And it's James Fishburne for Scuderia Rossini, who is top of the grid, king of the poles, leader of the pack, with Carl Johnson in second and Mostly Sane in third. This puts both Scuderia drivers head, shoulders, knees and toes ahead of everybody else who is competing this season. And frankly, I don't think the team's going to be caught. There might be 10 races left to go, but they've got 88 points to second place is 46. There's just no competition going on in there. Frankly, it's a very boring series. So UK Sports News are reporting that Nicholas Wolfrath is hated by his own mechanics, probably because no one could pronounce his name. The ERS may not be a popularity contest, but it generally helps if drivers aren't completely despised by their mechanics. Over at Zampelli Engineering, things are getting nasty. Wolfrath is a complete prat, an anonymous source told us. Well, this is the same quote that someone was saying about somebody else. You can't talk to the guy like a normal human being, lives in La La Land. What do you expect when they get paid millions a year? Oh, I feel so sorry for him. Meanwhile, Sophia's back with Chris Cannon. What have we got there, Chris? Couldn't turn a corner if it was a straight line. That kind of makes sense. Anyway, hates leading. Really? Okay. He's a chaser, but isn't that the same? Isn't that the reverse? So that's a lot of modifiers going on there. And he's a successful musician, which makes him terrible at driving. How very helpful. Chris, you are not going to be on my watch list anytime soon. Click Boyou is coming up next. Well, here we are. The Asia Pacific Super Cup reports back from Vancouver with round 5 of 12 having run. And it's Kuki Canuck, who, despite being injured, is leading the way for Kruger Motorsport with a remarkably good first place, taking her to third overall. And it's Pixelator, the Portuguese driver for Boa Esperança, in second, with General 4-star for a Spirit GP in third. This still keeps Hawk out front, despite him only finishing 5th this weekend, with 4-star now pulling up a little closer, finishing in third to take him to second overall. Canucks result there, propelling her to a remarkable third place in the championship. Now we're stopping by the workshop just to see how we're getting on. We've got 10 days to go till we head out to the Ardennes, but I am having one of those moments where I'm going, should I spend some of the not much money that I've got left? The answer is yes, incidentally. We'll get to that in a moment. But should I be spending some of the money that I've got left on some better brakes, given that they're both original parts this season? The gearbox is also not looking, I mean, you know, we're running the gearboxes we brought into the year, but our acceleration actually isn't the worst thing about the team. Suspension's looking a little bit more healthy now that we're running really dubious parts. That concerns me a little, but frankly, we're going to leave it all out on the track this year. We're not taking no for an answer. But what I was debating was should I be building better brakes, given that everybody seems to agree that our brakes suck, and frankly, yeah, I think I probably should. 14 weeks to go on the test track there, which will unlock the next stage of engine. It would be nice to have enough cash left at the end of the season, if I manage to get that built before season end, in order to develop a really chancy engine to take us into the off season. We'll see how that goes. Maybe if I calm it down a little on my development. That said, brakes, they're pretty cheap, aren't they? Let's go. Right, reliability, not interested. Deceleration, yes, am interested. And deceleration plus 20. Now, plus 25 to max is better than plus 20, but it does mean that you've got to set your mechanics loose on them, your engineers loose, in order to get the best out of them. Good, we can't do until we've actually built these mediocre ones. But this will be ready 6 days before the race. Not enough time for me to polish them up, but certainly enough time for me to get some action going there. However, if we look at what's available at the good tier here, deceleration plus 30, nice. Deceleration plus 30, lower build time. Build time just does not bother me in the slightest. Yeah, you see, there's only one way to go with that. So we'll head in that direction. It's projecting a performance of 235 of 272, which is very nice. So let's get that built. Yeah, take my money. Swinging on the sponsors ever so briefly, I thought it might be worthwhile looking at what we've got left here. So we've done, what, 4 races? 5 races? 4 races. We've done some races, and it's either 4 or 5 out of a 10 race season, which means that we're definitely going to see 1, 2, 3, 4 sponsorship replacements before the season's done. So that should be enough to fuel a little bit of extra part development late in the season, one would hope. So Arnold Boycott is back from the Evening Herald. Team payments are under the microscope at the GMA. Next week, European Racing Series bosses will be voting on a rule change which would see the championship's prize money adjusted in favour of the smaller teams. I might not have a problem with that. Anna's here talking about the next race. It's a 24-lapper. Lap is 3.6 miles. Average, the lap record is 1:42, so it's quite a slow lap. And there's likely to be some rain during the race. Perfect. That's where I've done best, with a 40% chance of race. It's a high-speed circuit. Should suit cars with strong engines. Oh dear. Well, we'll see how we get on, but hold on. Tyre compounds. Track is quite abrasive, but our car is one of the best on the grid when it comes to tyre wear. Vanessa would like a word. And there it is. Meanwhile, Nicholas Hazel sent me a mail. How lovely of him. Hi, Colonel. Just to keep you up to date on the strengths and weaknesses of the car. I know what the strengths and weaknesses of the car are, Nicholas. You're 18 years of age. I mean, it's a school night. Haven't you got homework to do? We're fairly decent around the medium speed corners, but I'm sure we could make a few improvements. Some of the top teams seem to be just a little bit better. I'm pretty sure that's down to them having excellent suspension. I just built you chancy suspension, sunshine. And due to the new rules that I've imposed on myself, you're going to get the better car this weekend. Do not do that thing, Nicholas. You know, yeah, there's a veiled threat that is meaningless. Meanwhile, Freddie's back. He's built some brakes. They're pretty good. Thanks, Fred. Good job. Now then, let's go straight back into designing new parts because I want to make those brakes super fine. There's nothing more I can do with the engine. Gearbox I could play with, suspension I could play with, but I think we'll go for brakes here. So we'll take plus 25 to max, and we'll take plus 30 regular. Now this is locked until I've got a brakes R&D facility, but that's where you really start to see the good stuff. Weight stripping performance game ×2. Crikey. Yeah, if I had that, that would be. I mean, you could almost win the race just on the deceleration alone there. So that's something to maybe keep in mind as we throw away another 650. Invest another 650 grand. Meanwhile, suspension. The new suspension is it's up to 78. That's good enough. 4 days after the race, well, that's enough time for us to pump a little bit more quality into these two parts, certainly. Are we going to even bother trying to work on the brakes? What's this one all about here? Oh, yeah, that's you just telling me you've got some new brakes there, Skipper. Well, thanks for that. They're nowhere near reliable enough, so we'll just we'll stick with what we're doing right now, and they can inherit whatever goodness Gary can bring to that particular party before we hit race day. Sophia's back from yet more scouting. She's found out a thing or two about Chris Shaw, who is so. That's actually quite heartening. Chris is only as good as either of my two racers. Maybe a little bit more solid all round, but lacks the peaks that I've come to expect from a quality racing driver. And he's ancient as well, so I'm not too fussed about that. Cole Minotti is my next scouting from Team Kirov in the Asia Pacific Super Cup. Meanwhile, Jonathan Weinstein is here to talk about the Ardennes ahead of the race. Garuda Racing likely to perform well this weekend, according to former WMC, blah, 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 blah. But they're going to be the favourites, he told Channel 6. Fenger Poppet is hoping to gain some ground. Gain some drown? I don't know what I was thinking. Gain some ground on the top two drivers this weekend with the claim that Hans 00 doesn't deserve to be on top. Well, frankly, I think Hans 00 is going to win it all, but we'll see. Meanwhile, Kurt's here. He's extremely concerned about the state of the team's finances. Still a long way to go in this season, and the coffers aren't looking too healthy. You need to make the money last. I hope this won't impact the performance in the last few races. It won't, Kurt, because, as I think I've mentioned before, I am coming for your wallet. So, just mind how you go. Anna's back in my inbox, and a new vote has begun over at the GMA, and it's high merit payments. This sounds pretty exciting. There is a large difference in the prize money awarded to the top and bottom teams, rewarding the top teams at a greater rate than the small teams. This rule will benefit highly ranked teams. Okay. It will not benefit mid-ranked teams. I'm a mid-ranked team all of a sudden. Well, I got voting power too here. So who's already voted for? Who are these jokers? I mean, I'm going to guess that we're looking at Vexala, Silver, and Octane Racing in there. Against, I suspect that's Mr. Firebird MRT. I'm gonna stick my vote against, and then we'll see where we end up. See, look, stern-looking mid-table dudes versus the same dudes with a range of different hairstyles. So here's the vote. I vote against with my 2 votes. Torsten's against it, good lad. Harvey's in favour, scumbag. So's him and that guy. Hugo, however, he's not standing for it. Stuff you, Carmen. Mario, get off the fence. Rahul, I don't like you either. Vincent, good lad. Oh dear. Well, we better hope we move up to be the top tier teams then. I blame you there, Rahul, if that is your name. That's entirely down to you. We could have voted for the little guy there. I'm just going to have to drive better, I suppose. Right, there will now be a political recess. I don't even know what exactly. Let's go to the rules screen here. Where's the merit thingamajig? Merit doodah. Is it to the bottom maybe? Weight stripping? No. Where are we? Show next year's rules. Yeah, let's do that. High merit parents. There is a large difference in prize money awarded to the top and the bottom teams, rewarding the top teams at a greater rate than small teams. All right, so the winners next season are going to keep winning. Okay, we got that? Everybody clear? So we need to make sure that we are in that winning bracket to capitalise on that stuff. Right, well, here we go. One last quick check of the car before we fly out to the Ardennes. Actually, we might take the Channel Tunnel. It might just be quicker. Let's have a look at how the parts are faring. 249 of 256, that's nice. 217 of 220, that's not too bad either. Let's talk cars here, people. Right, you're unhappy. I really want to give the better car to Vanessa, but I did kind of make a rule where I wasn't going to do that. Right, let's see who's in what. So Hazel has got really, really terrible brakes. So there you go. Let's switch them over. It is gonna be making Vanessa pretty unhappy this race, but after the way she hosed it in the last one, which yes, it was partly my fault, but even so, I mean, having the better car and doing well in practice, I can't really forgive that. Gearbox. No, sorry, Nico gets the. We're going to give him all the good stuff. He's also going to have the chanciest of the suspension. Both drivers chancing the suspension. This will be typical. I mean, to be honest, if we can come away from this with something of a result, then you know I'm going to be reasonably pleased. No matter what, even if we end up losing the parts and losing the points associated with it, it's still going to be a result. So decisions. Who are we going to have as our sponsor for this race? And I think after the last one, we're going to go conservative in the extreme and see if we can't just scrape in an extra 400k. Part fitting I've already done. Vanessa's angry. I hope she drives better angry. That'd be good. Top speed is crucial, and front wing with acceleration. That's what we're looking for. We're off to the Ardennes. I hope to see you there because it's sure to be a pretty thrilling race.